Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today, sharing and highlighting some of your favorite decks that you share with me on Twitter. So these are the 3 decks we're going to be using in today's episode. Shout out to all the people who shared their decks with me on Twitter. I got over 200 screenshots of decks that you guys prefer and that you wanted me to test out. So I'm going to pick 3 of them today that I thought were kind of interesting, and we're just going to play a few matches. We'll play 2 matches with each. We're going to start out with this one that's essentially a Trifecta deck. It has the Goblin Hut though and the Bomb Tower, 2 cards that you don't really see right now in the Trifecta, so I figured we could try this deck out. It looked kind of interesting, and the idea behind this episode isn't to say that these are the best decks right now and you should all run out and try them, but just to have some fun using decks that you guys said at least that you had a lot of success with. So what we're going to do is start out with the Goblin Hut here. By the way guys, before I get too ahead of myself, just because the response was so overwhelming from you guys, what I want to do here, I'm getting the Valkyrie down right now, trying to take out some of these Spirit Goblins in the back. Gonna have to use a zap there. I'm gonna try to get the Trifecta on the board. Unfortunately, my Valkyrie just goes down there. But what I'm gonna do is at the end of this episode, no fast forwarding guys, no fast forwarding, but at the end of this video, I'm gonna screenshot about half a dozen to 10 different decks that were also submitted if you guys want to give some of them a try too. Again, I asked for people's absolute favorite decks, and what we're gonna do is just share as many as possible. And I will make this a series. I do want to share, it was so hard deciding between all these decks, and to be honest with you, these might not be the 3 best decisions. It was tough to kind of weed through 200 responses, but I will make this definitely 100% a series because the response was so overwhelming, and I genuinely find it interesting to see what type of decks you guys are using, and obviously it really depends on where you are on the ladder or where you are as far as trophy play goes. I'm sure not everybody's a trophy player in the current system right now, so it'll be fun at the very least to try out these decks and see if we can have some success with them. We're starting out pretty good here considering I'm talking at the same time with this first match here, and what I want to do is basically I want to keep the Goblin Hut on the board, on the map the entire match if possible. That way I have that steady flow of Spirit Goblins backing up my Trifecta, and you know, this deck isn't too complex to try to figure out the mechanics behind, right? It's basically your Bomb Tower is your defense. Bomb Tower's not that bad. You don't see much of it in higher ladder play. You don't really see any of it, and you don't see much of it in tournament play either, but I still think it's a decent ladder deck for, it's a decent ladder deck for probably mid-range trophies, and it's also a decent trophy card. I don't think it's quite as strong as a more traditional defenses, Cannon and Tesla, which you see in tournament play, but regardless, that's what the viewers submitted, so that's what we're going to do, trying to sneak this hog in here in the left lane. That Valkyrie came down at just the perfect timing there. I was hoping that those Spirit Goblins were going to take down those minions and really allow me to get a few hits on that left tower here. So the Royal Giant getting played in the right lane, that's not a big deal. I'm going to counter it with a Musketeer in the Bomb Tower. You can see the Bomb Tower at the very least has a lot of hit points, so certainly can't complain about that all. However, the Royal Giant is going to get onto my tower here, so just doing our best to try to kill him before the time gets off the clock here in this match. Gonna send in the Hog Rider just in case he ties things up, but judging by his sad face, it looks like we're gonna pick up that W. So a good start to this episode. I gotta say, I kind of liked the deck. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it's a very simple deck to grasp. There's nothing confusing or nothing that requires certainly dozens and dozens of matches with the deck before you can get a handle on it. So this is it. If you guys want to copy it, it's a solid deck. We're gonna go ahead and not make any changes and just hop right back in here, guys, because to be honest with you, I can't think of, other than the obvious changes, just to turn it into a more classic Trifecta, I can't think of any obvious changes. The Goblin Hut and obviously the Bomb Tower are the 2 cards, as I mentioned before, that are typically not in a normal Trifecta deck, at least that I usually see. It's not to say that someone out there certainly hasn't played them before. So let's just go ahead and play a Valkyrie here, try to distract this mini P.E.K.K.A. That was not a very profitable first push for me in that right lane, but it doesn't look like he's going to get much profit on his counter push either. So we're just going to kind of reload here. We're going to wait to see what he does. I anticipate playing the Goblin Hut again, try to keep this Goblin Hut alive, and I'll be honest with you, one thing I'm not 100% sure on with this deck is where exactly I should be playing this Goblin Hut here. I want to keep it a safe distance away from where I'm going to be putting my Bomb Tower, so that's why I'm playing it right now behind that tower, especially because it doesn't look like he has a miner to sneak in there and target it. So he's playing another Royal Giant deck, so back-to-back Royal Giant decks here. I don't know, guys. I think that there might be some balance changes is coming up. We'll have to see if the Royal Giant is or is not touched, but I know it's definitely the most hated card out there in the game. YouTube tells me that all the time because I see the most hated cards, the most hated cards, the most hated cards video almost every day in my feed, and certainly every one of those videos highlights in some way the Royal Giant in their top list of most hated cards in the game. So, meanwhile, I'm getting absolutely wrecked here. I'm going to drop the Valkyrie right in the middle, and I should actually be able to defend here. You can see Valkyrie takes a few hits there, unfortunately, but you can see he didn't really touch my tower at all there. Thankfully, the Spirit Goblin's playing a little defense for me. Actually, the Goblin Hut is fitting in pretty nicely in this deck. I can't lie, guys. It's actually defending well, and obviously it really helps out the pushes on these Hog when I try to sneak the Hog Rider in there. So, not too worried about his Elixir Collector over there. And meanwhile, you see my Spirit Goblins just one hit at a time here, just chipping away at that right tower. I'm going to drop a poison here. Might not be the smartest play in the world, but I'll get some hit points more off that tower there. And you know what? Now, in hindsight, I shouldn't have played that poison. That was a bad play by yours truly. Let's just go ahead and let this Musketeer do some work here. Fireball, not a very profitable Fireball on his part. However, he did hit my tower, continuing to play this chip away game at this point. He's there, Johnny on the spot, countering my Hog Rider, but I do get a hit in on that right tower. This time, I think I was gonna poison. Okay, not gonna poison now. We're gonna build another Goblin Hut here, and then we'll just zap, buying some time for the Bomb Tower to take down some of these troops here. I gotta say, Bomb Tower pretty effective against the Royal Giant. I'm gonna sneak in a Hog Rider right now, by the way. Try to get this Hog Rider to that tower while the Royal Giant is still alive. He counters with a Wizard. Don't love that. I'm gonna zap. Hopefully I can take it down right now. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Come on, poison. Okay, there it is. It took a little bit longer than expected there, but 2-0 with this deck, so I gotta give props to, let me go ahead and, I forgot the guy's name, to be honest with you, because I'm recording this as I do it, but I'll overlay the deck again, and hopefully that will be a decent shout-out to the guy who shared this with me. So this next deck here, I'll overlay again who suggested this deck. Sorry, guys. But this next deck, I actually really wanted to play a Lumberjack deck. I'm not sure how this Lightning fits in with this deck. It feels like the Lightning might be a little bit out of place, and the Lumberjack, I do anticipate the Lumberjack getting a pretty significant buff, so I want to play more Lumberjack just to get a hang of him and get a better handle on the best way to play the Lumberjack. So that's what we're doing with this deck here. It's a kind of an unorthodox deck. Like I said, again, you don't typically see like a Furnace type deck with a Lumberjack, and I'm waiting for him to make the first move here, but I think I'm just going to drop the Furnace at this point. It doesn't seem like he's going to make the first move, and I'm not one for waiting till there's 1 minute left in the match to start playing, especially when I'm recording live. So what we're going to do is drop the Furnace and play things a little bit defensively here. I don't want to come out of the gate really aggressively because I don't really have anything super aggressive. So I'm going to use the Lightning here. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to kill that Valkyrie there behind the Giant, but I did take down the Wizard, and I took it down about half the hit points off that Giant, so I'm pretty happy with that Lightning spell. Got his troops off my tower, and I might get a hit here with this Mini P.E.K.K.A. Ooh, that was good bomber there. Good bomber placement. Of course, I'll take it down, but he was able to protect his tower as well. So interesting start here. I'm trying to figure out exactly where this Lumberjack fits into this deck, like how I can get a really good push going. At this point, I'm going to play the Musketeer, and then I'll probably reload this Furnace here and see what happens after that. So I might go ahead and, okay, we have a Giant coming. I'm going to put the Furnace in a place to distract the Giant, then play the Mini P.E.K.K.A. behind. I probably should have played the Mini P.E.K.K.A. right on that Valkyrie instead of in front of the Giant, but we'll still survive here. So again, I'm going to use the Lumberjack, but you know what? I was way too late on that Lumberjack. Unfortunately, you want the Lumberjack to die before whatever the DPS troop is behind it, so obviously way late on that Lumberjack. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, he takes down that tower, so that was good, but obviously could have got the same value out of, say, a Knight in that position there. So we are not making excuses here, guys, but obviously this is the first time I'm picking up and playing these decks, so my first match and second match on each of the decks, so keep that in mind here, and obviously keep that in mind whenever you watch any YouTube video or any streamer and you want to give one of their decks a try. I mean, I can't stress this enough. It's so common, even I do it sometimes, but you play 1 or 2 matches with a new deck, you lose 1 or 2 matches with that new deck, and then you're just like, screw this, I'm not using this deck, it sucks. But half the time, or maybe more than half the time, it's really you who just aren't used to playing the deck, even if you're generally a pretty good player. It takes time to learn the best counters and everything like that for every single individual deck. So again, again here, playing some good defense, but offensively haven't been able to get much going on here. Of course, we have what we want to have happen here with the Mini P.E.K.K.A trailing the Lumberjack in the left lane, but unfortunately he dropped that minion horde in a perfect time as well. You see, the perfect scenario there would have been obviously getting the Furnace, the Mini P.E.K.K.A, the Ice Spirit, all behind the Lumberjack going down, and then you have the Furnace to protect and defend against that minion horde, and then you have the Mini P.E.K.K.A to hit that building 2 or 3 times the Crown Tower building. What am I talking about? Alright guys, so 3-0, couldn't have asked for a better start to these experimental decks here. Let's go ahead and obviously, I don't even know what change I would make to this deck, and if you think this deck is crazy, just wait till you see the third deck that we're going to try to play. It's a weird one, guys. I don't even know if I was trolled as far as the suggestion on this deck, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But for now, we have another match with this deck here, so let's see how we do against Maxwell here. A level 8 player, so it should be an advantage in our corner here. Starting again with the Furnace, gonna have to play the guards. I love the guards. I think the guards are my favorite card in the entire game right now. I think by far it's the best defensive weapon in the entire game, the guards. So if you're having trouble with the deck and you're looking for a substitution to make and you have the guards and you have them leveled up, certainly consider adding them for another defensive card and see if you have more success there. I think for 3 elixir, you get a heck of a lot of value. I mean, one single guard can withstand an entire blow from a P.E.K.K.A, or an entire group of guards can withstand a shot from a rocket, so that's a lot of value off of a 3 elixir unit, so consider adding guards. I love guards. So anyway, let's go ahead and refocus on this match here. We haven't touched his towers, barely. I think we got 1 shot in on this left tower here, and look at this. This is going to be a lot of damage if he does not stop me here, guys. Look at the Musketeer on this tower. You guys, I'm sure if you're watching my channel for any length of time by this time, you know that a Musketeer unchecked against a tower can do a devastating amount of damage to it, so certainly never let a Musketeer just fire away at your tower. So I'm able to counter the Hog here, and again, I got a nice little push going of my own against his left tower. This is going to be pretty hard to stop for him. I love having the Ice Spirit right in front of that Mini P.E.K.K.A, or right behind, in that case, of the Mini P.E.K.K.A, allowing the Mini P.E.K.K.A, if they don't counter it, to get 2 or 3 swings off that tower, and that's almost enough to take it down. So certainly, I love the Mini P.E.K.K.A Ice Spirit combination. So again, though, guys, I'm not using really the Lumberjack at all. So it's funny, I started out this video by saying that, you know what, guys, I really want to play the Lumberjack and get to know him and learn him because I think a big buff is coming, and I haven't barely played him at all, so in this deck. So let's put the Lumberjack down, damn it, and follow it up with a Musketeer and an Ice Spirit. Hopefully we get something going here. I'm going to zap, and then hopefully they kill this Lumberjack right about now, and here's the Musketeer, and she's going to go absolutely wild on this tower, almost taking it down. Finally, one time in 2 matches, I was really able to take advantage of the LJ there. So Hog coming at me, I'm not too worried at this point. The match is looking very, very good in our favor. Not a lot of damage done to my towers, just a few hit points off that left tower, but otherwise we're looking pretty good here with 30 seconds left. Just gonna zap and play defense at this point, rebuild the Furnace, and we should be looking pretty good. You know what? Let's actually get a little push going instead. Maybe we can get the 3 crown here, and we'll see how we do. We have obviously the Rage down from that Lumberjack, and unfortunately those okay, here we go. Let's do this. I'm gonna zap the right tower to try to protect the Mini P.E.K.K.A here. Come on, baby, take it down, and there it is. So you know what, not a bad deck. I need to get better at the Lumberjack. I totally admit that I've fallen victim to the meta, as so many players have. You know, I play Hog Cycle decks, I play Miner decks, I play, you know, Giant decks, I play basically the current meta, and I don't get a lot of Lumberjack action into my matches. You know what, it feels like everything, I'm glad they plan on totally revamping and reworking the training camp, because it feels like everything is so high stakes. I mean, ladder, I don't want to lose too many trophies really messing around, although I do from time to time, but I don't want to lose a ton of trophies messing around with different types of decks, and at the same time in tournaments, I certainly don't want to spend an hour just totally playing around, although that's exactly what I'm doing here as well. But you get the point, guys. It's tough to find a low pressure situation where you can really experiment with different decks. So this is the crazy deck, guys, that that I told you about earlier in the beginning of the episode. So it's an xbow Rocket Inferno Tower deck, and you know there's a reason that I picked this deck here, and that is because I could not come up with a deck that I'm more unfamiliar with in terms of the cards. I'm not a Siege player, and it's just very out of my wheelhouse, so that's why I chose it. Wanted to do something a little bit wacky and different for the third deck. Now, the person who submitted this deck, I told you, could have been trolling me here, but he said he actually finished really high in a tournament. Again, I'll overlay his comment after I go to edit this video, but basically what we're looking at this point is just a total vintage Siege deck with the Rocket. Every type of cheese card that you can think of that fits into a Siege deck, obviously, is in this deck. So we'll see how we do. I'm obviously trying to get a setup going right now where I have the Inferno Tower protecting the xbow. Did a pretty poor job of that on my first xbow placement, but I'm sure we'll get better here. It will be interesting to see if Siege ever has a more popular or common place in the game than it does right now. Obviously, at the time of the first Helsinki tournament, wow, it feels like months and months ago. I think it was months ago, but it feels like a year ago, I guess is a better way to put it. But I remember you saw almost all mortar decks there, or certainly a lot of them in the actual tournament. On the main stage, there was only one, Steroidy, obviously, but in the actual tournament, there were a lot of mortar players, but now you barely ever see mortar players. Of course, here and there, but it's definitely not as popular as it once was when the game first came out. So what we're going to do here is try to get the actual combo down on the board here. So I'm going to be silly and just rocket this Musketeer here. I like to obviously hang on to, you're supposed to hang on to the Rocket until the end of the match, where you can actually use it when they have whatever 550 hit points. I forgot exactly what the tournament level standards are. I'm going to use the arrows here against this Princess. Hate the Princess in the back like that, and I'm going to just allow the Inferno Tower to do its work defensively. The only problem here is that now I lost my Inferno Tower to guard my xbow. So I'm going to put the Fire Spirits, anticipating something being played there, and there it was, the guards. So I took down the guards. Now I should get a few hits on this tower with this xbow here, and certainly the Hog is a great counter to the xbow, any Siege deck, but we're just going to go ahead and keep playing, keep spamming and cycling over to try to get this Inferno Tower on the board again. So again, I'm forced to play the Inferno Tower, not in the exact position that I want to play. Obviously, what you're trying to do is, and I'll do a better job on the next match either way here, but what we want to do is play the Inferno Tower a little bit up north towards the center of the map so we can protect our xbow. And look at that, guys. I thought I was actually looking pretty good because I only need to get the tower down to whatever, 600 hit points, but I lost. So that was a loss there using this deck, and I don't even know where to begin as far as making changes. So this is kind of unraveling a little bit here. So much for our beautiful start to this episode, but we're going to try our best here, guys. Just a heads up, in case this wasn't obvious, don't take tips from me if you want to get better at your Siege game. I am not the YouTube channel or the guy to be watching, but we'll have fun with it either way, and I'm sure you guys can let me know in the comments what I'm doing wrong here. Maybe Steroidy is watching and he can weigh in with a few tips, but this is more like what I was talking about with the xbow and the Inferno Tower. I should have probably played no, that's a pretty good placement, I think, there. And what we're going to do is obviously defend, so I'm going to use my spirits here to protect the xbow, and then I should get a lot of damage on this right tower. And there's not an easy way that he has, like for example that giant he could not have sent into my xbow, because by the time he got there, might have gotten one hit off on my xbow, but the Inferno Tower certainly would have taken it down. Now if you play the Inferno Tower, now that I think about it, if you play the Inferno Tower a little bit up north more, you could actually do a better job of protecting the xbow, because then if you play the giant or the Hog, they'd go to the Inferno Tower before the xbow, whereas how I had it positioned, they would go to the xbow before the Inferno Tower, and that's not what you want to have happen. So I'm just going to counter these Barbarians with the Valkyrie as soon as they make their way down. Might not even need to. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. Why not? So as we defend here, guys, what my thought process is just basically, I think I'm just going to go ahead and burn a Rocket right here again. Make the same mistake that I chastised myself for making the first time. But he has 2 pumps up, so I don't want to take him for granted here at this point. But what I want to do is set up that xbow again in the left lane in just a second here, but I don't have my Inferno Tower ready, so let's see what he does. He certainly has the elixir advantage, at least I think he does at this point, but maybe not. So what are we going to do here? Let's wait. Okay, so there's the giant. I just want to cycle to my Inferno Tower at this point, so I'm going to play the Ice Wizard here. I'm going to set up the Inferno Tower over here. It will will lock onto this giant pretty early, so I'm not too worried about the placement there, and we'll just see what he does here. So the balloon coming at me, not too scared of this. The balloon goes down by the hands of the Inferno Tower, and my Inferno Tower is actually coming through huge against this giant balloon deck. It's tough. It's tough to go with a giant balloon combo, and one of the biggest reasons that you see so many players moving away from the giant balloon combo after they've been using them for a while is because we're seeing more and more Inferno Towers in tournament play. Ladder play, I can't really speak to that, but certainly Inferno Towers make it really difficult to use the balloon giant combo decks because both of them can be easily burnt down if not distracted by Inferno Towers. So again, the balloon doesn't really get to my tower at this point. I'm just going to drop the xbow right now. I think he's pretty low in elixir right now, and I have that ice wizard to defend. So you can see he played the elixir pump there. You can tell he's kind of grasping at the straws at this point, and it looks like we're going to get the W here. So we end with a win, but against another level 8, so it's not much to write home about, but it was an interesting deck nonetheless. If you guys are better Siege players than I am, which probably is 99% of you guys out there, consider maybe giving this deck a try. So I promised you guys to include some of the other decks that were shared with me at the end of this episode, so here they are on the screen. I'm just going to go ahead and flash them on the screen right now so you guys can take a look at these. Thank you so much for all your submissions. I'll include some more of these decks that you're seeing right now, and also some more new decks on the next episode that I do in this series. And by the way, guys, you made it all the way to the end. I really respect and appreciate your opinions and feedback. Do you like this idea that I play your best decks? Do you think I could change it in any way to make it more interesting to you guys, the viewers? Let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate it, guys. And as always, take care, guys.